Hello, everybody. Thank you for participating our today's webinar, where we talking about how to turn AI into a competitive advantage. And we have 1 hour for that. Here you can see today's speakers. I'm Taavi Sadam, Microsoft Business Application Sales Manager in OIXIO. And also today we're speaking also Helen Heintalu and Grete Altosaar. So today's agenda, shortly, I'm introducing OIXIO Group, what we are doing, what we are offering in the market. And then I will give you overview shortly about Microsoft ecosystem in AI perspective. It's a very huge topic, but I try to fit it on the time and give you some overview how things are working. And after that, Helen and Grete will go more detail about AI solutions in Microsoft, one of the ERP systems, Dynamics365, finance and supply chain management. But let's go here. Short about OIXIO. So we are operating mainly in Baltics and also in Germany. We have been in the market more than 30 years now. In the group, we have 300 plus employees. During that period, we have served 1,500 customers, and the group revenue was last year about 50 million euros. So what is our value proposition to the market? Here you can see that kind of infinity mark with the 4 main pillars. Those are the services what we are offering to the market. And if you're going a little bit more deeply, those services, then the first one, where in our house, let's say normally the client journey will start. This is OIXIO Advisory. There we are offering different business requirements mapping, digitalization roadmaps, AI trainings, and consultations. If you're moving on, then we have a quite big part is our OIXIO IT, what is the, let's say, foundation of the company, maybe in that matter, where are the covered services like cloud, server, IT management, infrastructure topics. Everything is covered from that side. And then it's OIXIO Digital, what we are representing today here, where we are one of the largest Microsoft business application partner in the Baltics. And we are covering all the Dynamics365 topics, payroll, and we have a quite big AI and data analytics teams also. Last but not the least one, the OIXIO Cyber. I can say this is maybe one of the right now the most important fields in our service. Different cybersecurity services, 24/7 monitoring and infrastructure solutions for the cyber. So this is where we are playing. We are quite unique on that matter in the Baltic market, and that is our advantage for the bigger companies, that we are like a one-stop shop for different services and the solutions. Just for a quick reminder, if you have any questions, there is a Q&A button. You can ask the questions, and we will go through them during the meeting and try to answer for you immediately. So let's go now on one of the topics, the AI in the Microsoft ecosystem. This is quite wide area, but I try to fit it on those 10 minutes to give you better understanding how Microsoft sees AI in their ecosystem, and maybe it's giving a better understanding when Helen and Grete will present their ideas. So first of all, let's go to some numbers or the metrics to give some perspective what we are going to talk about. So today's reality of today's businesses is that almost more than 50% of companies are saying that they don't have time or energy to keep up the work. And another thing that is coming from that is that the companies are actively exploring the options to bring the AI into their company as a one option of like digital employees as agents from coming in the next 12 or 18 months. And the good part, what is and there is also a downside, is that already about 80% of employees in the companies are using some of AI tools. But the problem is that everybody's using their own solutions, and there are some risks. But let's move on. The downside is that we all understand that the AI is here and it's not going anywhere. But there are some challenges. And one of the things is that almost 60% of the companies are saying that it's very hard to measure the AI value and what is it really doing. And the other thing is 100% what we are seeing in every day, that organizations face the challenges scaling and implementing AI. And there are in the Microsoft world, we can say that there are methodology how to definitely reduce that percent. There is exact steps what you need to take that it will be the success story. But I will tell about it a little bit later. So AI in the Microsoft ecosystem. First of all, you don't have to go deeply in that map here. It's a Microsoft Business Application Ecosystem map. And here are the different solutions what Microsoft is offering under that roof. And OIXIO is basically offering most of them, what is in here. And we can talk with you most of the topics. But in the middle, you see one of the logo, and it's a Microsoft Copilot logo. And it's a Microsoft nickname or name of their generative AI assistant. Quite similar, like everybody knows ChatGPT or Gemini, etc. So Microsoft named their AI assistant Copilot. And what is important to know that this Copilot is living in every solution what this Microsoft has. So they have built it in also in their solutions. What makes the user's life a little bit easier or efficiency higher. And today we are focusing mainly 4 solutions. What does the Dynamics 365 solutions? The finance, supply chain, commerce, and project operations side. So it gives some context. And what is one takeaway from this picture is what makes Microsoft maybe a little bit different at giving some advantage to the other, let's say, players in the market. That all the services, if you're looking outer layer, Dynamics 365 solutions, and if you're looking the most popular Microsoft service, Microsoft 365 service, then those solutions are connected to each other. And the real value comes if you can use, let's say, Microsoft Excel and a finance solution together. And those different connections and benefits are coming out if you have different Microsoft solutions and they are connected. It's easy to get data out from the other solution, etc., etc. This is really beneficial in a bigger picture. So, but let's move on. What is, I tried to give you over, what is this Copilot in Microsoft world and what does it mean and what makes a little bit different if we're talking about, example, ChatGPT. So, as I mentioned, Microsoft 365 Copilot is an assistive AI solution, and it's quite similar with ChatGPT. Basically, it runs on the ChatGPT models because Microsoft and OpenAI have a very big cooperation side, and it always uses the latest ChatGPT models. But what's the big difference there is that this Copilot is living in your Microsoft tenant. Where is your data and where is your security rules? And it's very important part if you're talking about in enterprise level security, how your employees are using that kind of AI assistance, where the data is coming from, and how secure it is. So this is the main part what is different. So it can access the data from Teams chats, Outlook emails, your notes. If you ask it, it gathers the information from there. And doing it securely, because it respects the Microsoft 365 security rules and all the options. What is, if it's filled, it respects them. If you are moving on, then the second Copilot group is the Copilots what are living in Microsoft solutions. One of them is, we are talking about here, are the ERP systems. Dynamics 365 solutions, and they are like more contextual IE solutions. They are pre-built in the solution, and they're there for helping the users do their everyday tasks a little bit easier, more ways to be more efficient. So this is the Copilots what are living in the Dynamics solutions. And the third one is agents. And they are a little bit different. They're like more autonomous AIs, and they're like, let's say, digital employees who can do end-to-end processes by you. So it means that Microsoft have built some agent what is living in Dynamics 365, and he can manage some tasks, and you don't have to do that manually. So those are the main three things what to remember. And Helen and Grete will tell you more about two of them later. But let's say in real life, quite often the companies are starting from the first one, and they want to implement this kind of AI assistant in their company, and do it. How to say, do it in the right way to implement it. There are some steps need to take before. It isn't just so that you will buy generative AI assistant licenses and everybody start using it. Definitely, it's not the right path, and there are some risks. But I have gathered some points. It is from Microsoft methodology. What are the possible steps if you want to start the AI road in your company and you start using Copilot solution in your company? So first one is that you should have a lead of the project, the team who is responsible that implementation, and you should define why and what we want to achieve with that AI solution in our house. The second is one of the most important in my mind. This is the secure data and guardrails. This is if your company is living in Microsoft 365 world, and you already have set up security groups, security roles, and every people can access only the data where they should, then it's okay. But quite often companies do not have that. This is the place where you have to think over and do the setups that this is correct, because you can imagine that if you activate the Copilot solution in the company, and everyone is just let's say writing find me a document where is the name payslip and or the agreements, and they can access it like so in so fast. So it's definitely a security risk. So step 3. Choose the small group of people or the process where you want to test out this AI solution, how it is working. You will get the first feedback from the users, how to improve. And the fourth one, it's also important. It's quite often you will companies start doing their own agents, and then it's mandatory to understand who can create them, how they will be tested in the company, and set rules for that. And the last one, what is also very important and where most of companies are failing, it's the measure and scale up. That was this 99% basically what we saw in the earlier slide. And this is the very important part, and Microsoft have their tools that how your users are using the AI solution, how often they're using it, and then at the same time, you should measure. Let's say you have some task, but you measure how long time, let's example, how long time it took before you start using AI solution and after, then is it successful? And on that point, if you see that some model is working well, then you confirm the success and roll out in the company. So it is very shortly, but this is the way how is the right way to expand or take that kind of AI assistant or any AI solution in your company in use. So shortly enough from my side. I will give now word to the Helen, who is going more detail about the topics second and third one, what I showed on my previous slide, and you will get much better know what kind of Copilot and AI solutions are living in one of the Microsoft ERP systems. Thank you for now.
Yes, thank you, Taavi, and hi everyone. I'm Helen, and today we are going to explore how artificial intelligence, especially Microsoft Copilot, is transforming the way we work in Dynamics. So let's jump right in. Next slides will cover will give you overview of the core applications within Dynamics. So it includes finance, supply chain management, commerce, project operations, and human resources. So let's go and see a bit more detail about it. So the big question is, how does AI actually help us in Dynamics? And the idea is quite simple. AI reduces manual work and helps everyone make smarter decisions faster. So some of the key ways it shows up are, it allows us to use native language. You can ask Dynamics for a report or explanation in your own native language. It also enables predictive insights, let's say things like cash flow forecasts or anomaly detections. These are the steps that help leaders stay ahead and also spotting risks before they become real problems. It also helps to automate processes. Fewer clicks for users and fewer manual tasks for the teams. So tasks like invoice matching, account reconciliations, or suggested next steps become faster and more accurate, freeing teams from manual work. And of course, intelligent guidance. So this is a quite powerful tool for users that will provide you contextual help right where and when you need it. Overall, think of AI as your digital colleague, a very fast, always available one who helps you work smarter, not harder, and the kind of coworker that always knows the answer and never sleeps and makes your day a bit easier. But in general, in the next few slides, I will walk you through the core Copilot and AI capabilities at a high level. And after that, we will dive into the specific applications in more detail. So on the next slides, I will switch the slides. You will see a list of different features and capabilities on the left. And just a quick head up, whenever you see something highlighted in bold, then that's the feature we are currently focusing on. In general, Copilot appears in three main ways for the users. First of all, it's a sidecar assistant, which enables you to chat with Copilot, ask questions, receive explanations, and navigate through the system without users to navigate through different pages and reports. It also enables embedded intelligence. It includes embedded intelligence, so AI will compile summaries for you, for example. And as Taavi already mentions, we can create external agents that will do some of the work for us, and we are not it's not needed to make any manual work from our side anymore. But let's go and see in more detail about the capabilities that Copilot provides us. So the first capability is Copilot Generative Help. This is a useful feature for us because instead of searching for documents or waiting support, users can simply ask Copilot a question in native language, like, how do I post this journal? Or why isn't this batch job running? Or what are the steps to reconcile the account? So Copilot understands the context you're working in, pulls the right info from Microsoft's documentations, and gives you the answer right on the screen users are working on. Plus, it adds a link to the original data source, and you can go with and check the information there as well. So this way we have the fast access to information, and also troubleshooting becomes much easier. The second feature is the possibility to give feedback for Copilot and related experiences. So users can give feedback like thumbs up or thumbs down, so meaning whether the provided information was good enough and it gave users necessary information or not. But it's also possible to provide meaningful feedback and explain what was helpful, what was unclear, and what could be improved. So this kind of feedback gives more information that directly contributes to better Copilot responses over time. So over time, this gives us faster improvements, more accurate support, and smoother user experience, and ensures that Copilot becomes smarter. So the third feature that I wanted to share with you is the Copilot that enables for us to create different summaries. A great example in the general part is the workflow history summary, which is a smart way to review approvals. Instead of scrolling through endless, very long approval logs, user can get a quick and clear summary right at the top. So it will provide you information who submitted the document, when it was submitted, the current status, the actions and comments and due dates. So this means user can make decisions faster and confident without needing to dig through multiple tabs. Yes, and very important capability is also to have chats with Dynamics data. So this one is powerful because you can ask questions directly about your ERP data. Things like, show me open vendor invoices, or what are our current inventory shortages. So Copilot reads your questions, checks your accesses to the data, and respond based on the real-time data. So user doesn't need to run the reports, navigate different pages. Everything will be handled in the one page, and Copilot provides you the necessary answers. But there's more. AI Copilot also, this is the capability that is that replaces the traditional workspace as we know it so far. So the workspace so far was static homepage for us, and now the new workspace immersive home is provided for the users. That means there are more dynamic, personalized data that adapts to users' priorities, workflows, and tasks. So it is designed to help users in their everyday work, where information is organized, informative, and efficient. So it shows you and highlights you your top tasks, relevant insights, suggestions from intelligent agents, and summaries of the tasks that need your attention. So it's basically a smarter start for your workday. And the last one in the general section is building agents. Some of the AI agents are already available to use and or announced by Microsoft to be available soon. But we will talk about them in each area in the specific field. But from my side, I would say that this is also one of the most transformative feature, which helps us to make more automatic processes in Dynamics and gives us the opportunity to build our own intelligent agents without writing a code. So in Copilot Studio, you can create agent, describe what it should do in natural language, and let it carry out ERP tasks on your behalf. So this matters because, and this is important because it speeds up processes, reduces manual navigation, and improves data accuracy. Of course, there's also lower operational costs and frees employees time for more valuable work. So I think it's a big step toward AI-assisted automated business operations. So I have added just in general purposes 3 slides here to share with you. In Copilot Studio, we can create agent, chats with Copilot to define the agent functionality and name it. Of course, there are some additional setups, but basically agent is created and it is ready to be used in your Dynamics. So this was an overview of the general features and capabilities of implementing AI and Copilot in Dynamics. But now let's move specifically into the finance application. Yes. The first feature in finance application is that I want to introduce you is the collection coordinator workspace. It enables so far managing overdue invoices, reviewing payment history, checking credit status, and writing reminder emails can take a lot of time. And this Copilot feature changes that. It brings AI-generated summaries, smart insights, and even ready-to-edit reminder emails directly into the workspace. At high level, the summary gives collection agents a quick, clear overview of the customer financial situation. You instantly get AI-generated summary and possibility to draft reminder email with 1 second, basically. Of course, user can review the created email, the draft email, change it if necessary, and send it out automatically. So all of this cuts a huge amount of manual checking and email writing. And in the background, I think when this process before it took 10 to 15 minutes, now it takes about a minute of the work time. So it's faster and more consistent. Yes, this is the slide where we can see the email that was created by Copilot. So, but let's move on. The second functionality is customer page summary. I already told you in the general part that Copilot can create us the summaries. So this is the customer page summary. Instead of clicking through multiple tabs, Copilot brings everything together into one clear overview right on the customer page. So let's see the third possibility. So I think this is a really beneficial capability and feature what you could use in your ERP. The account reconciliation agent is, let's say, great example how AI can take over time-consuming finance tasks. Instead of waiting until month end and run the reconciliation process, the agent continuously matches transactions across subledgers and general ledger in the background. So basically, it will do all our work behind the screen, and it will only let us know if some exceptions have been drawn and what are the mismatches that will need our closer look and manual fixing. So the agent handles the straightforward matches automatically and flags only the unusual transactions. So I would say it will introduce us proactive exception detection, smart recommendations for how to resolve mismatches, and clear, transparent audit logs showing every step it has taken in the background. So overall, it turns a traditional process into smooth, automated one. So this is the part where we can define. It also enables us to define what are the suggestions when the mismatches will be found and how we will react them. And all the agents, let's say, outcomes will be displayed for us in the immersive home workspace. So this is, I think this is a quite useful change that you can use in everyday work. The next feature is that I wanted to show you is the Copilot, using Copilot in finance, and that means this is another look to the solution. You can also bring your ERP connected financial data straight into the tools that you already use every day, let's say to the Excel or Outlook. So this is also optional. Instead of manually gathering data, you can reconcile records or drafting responses using Copilot. So Copilot can automate a lot of traditional time-consuming works like reconciliation, like you can see on the screen now. It can analyze the data. We can ask additional questions to explain why some difference occur. And we can also say that Copilot should provide us the report when it has finished processing the data. Of course, it also includes variance analysis, exception detections, and, as I already mentioned previously, customer communications. So we can we have many functionalities how we can make our work easier. There's also a financial insight capability. So it brings AI-powered forecasting and predictive analytics directly to Dynamics. Instead of relying manual spreadsheets, the system uses your company's historical data to automatically predict customer payments and even draft the budget proposal. And let's say I have here additional slide. We can predict the cash flow forecast and also generate the proposal for budget scenarios. So overall, it helps leaders strengthen financial stability, reduce forecasting risks, and free up their finance team for focusing on strategic work. And on the finance side, there was one more feature I wanted to present you. This is invoice capture. This is an example of how AI can simplify everyday work in accounts payable. So instead of manually reading invoices and keying the data, the feature automatically reads, interprets, and creates vendor invoices from digital images and files. So it dramatically, let's say, it cuts down manual effort, improves accuracy. There's not so many mistakes like you do. Let's say in manual work, there's also the chance that something will go wrong. So the invoice capture will be the solution that helps to run the processes more automatically. And we have reached to the end of the finance section. So this was briefly about these finance applications, and I wanted to share some insights about also project operation application. So here are 5 capabilities that I will cover today. So first of it is Copilot for projects. So AI-assisted project management. It will help teams to work faster, cut down administrative work, and deliver better project outcomes. So it supports project manager and deliver team with AI-generated task plans, automated risk assessments, instant project status reports, and provides chat-like interface for users. So basically, instead of starting a project plan from the scratch, Copilot looks at the project name and description and already suggests realistic tasks with estimated durations. It also proactively identifies potential risks, whether they are related to the scope or timelines or budgets, so teams can address them before they run into the real problems. And because Copilot can automatically generate project status reports, reporting becomes a quick review. So it will help to keep an eye on things and flagging risks like, let's say, an overloaded resources or simplifying, splitting the milestones. So this is something you can consider. And moving on, the next one would be the Copilot in time entry. So this makes logging work hours much easier. Instead of clicking through forms and searching for the right fields, user can just type something simple like log my hours for today or add comments for my testing work. And the Copilot understands the project context, the tasks you are assigned to, the deadlines, your role, and automatically creates accurate time entries within the project. Of course, every user can review the provided description and, if necessary, correct it. But in general, this means that time entry becomes faster, more intuitive, and far less error. It doesn't consist so many errors. So smart suggestions help prevent logging hours to the wrong tasks, and the consistent comments make reporting much clearer and effective. In this application, project operation application, we Microsoft has 3 agents available already. One of it is time entry agent. So time entry agent help us, like I said already, logging and managing time-related projects. Once it's turned on, the agent basically works behind the screen on behalf of the user. It can create, update, and validate the time entries automatically, and which cuts out a lot of manual steps. So instead of clicking through forms, user can rely on the agent to create entries correctly. And moving on, I have, yes, this is where we can see in the Teams the time entry agent, and it's linked to the so because this agent is integrated within Microsoft Teams, employees can review and submit their reports, confirm their time related to the projects there. There's also expense agent, which makes the entire expense processing workflow easier. The agent does all the work for you. It automatically reads receipts, create expense lines, and build complete reports. So reviews, it also reviews expense claims, validates against policies, and initiate approvals. So this is also automated process and helps to significantly improve the workflow for the users. This is the previous slide covered the Outlook integration, and we can see that the same expense agent is also integrated in Teams, so both ways are working for us. And my last the last one that I wanted to introduce you is approval agent. This is the agent that helps us with reviewing and approving time, expense, and material entries. So this is a quite good tool. Instead of project manager going through every single submission one by one, the agent does the first round of checking automatically. It compares each entry to your organization rules and classifications, and then sorts them. Entries that follow policy are marked as ready for approval, and anything that needs a closer look is flagged needs review. So this is a good distinction. And also organizations can even switch on auto approval for compliant entries, so which speeds things up even more. So by filtering out those entries, it guarantees that all the tasks will be run more automatically, and they have quicker solutions. So this is all very briefly that I wanted to introduce you. As I have already shown you, AI and Copilot are no longer distant and experimental technologies. They are already reshaping how we work. And I think Copilot evolves, and it has it will have more and more advantages to use them in our work. So that's all from my side, and now I will hand things over to Grete.
Thank you, Helen, and hello everyone from me. My name is Grete, and in my part, I'll walk through supply chain management, commerce, and human resources, and how Copilot is actually being used across these areas. So let's start with supply chain management. In supply chain, the problem usually isn't that we don't have enough data. It's actually the opposite. There's lots of it. We have orders, inventory, forecasts, supplier updates, it's all there. The challenge is figuring out what actually matters quickly enough to do something about it. And what we often see in practice is that teams spend a lot of time just trying to get clarity. They're clicking through screens, exporting data, double-checking things, before they can even decide what action to take. And even a small delay here can already impact deliveries, stock levels, or customer satisfaction. And that's really where Copilot comes in. It helps surface what's important right inside the system. One of the most noticeable changes is simply how information is presented in supply chain management. So when you open something like a purchase order or a vendor account, Copilot gives you a quick summary of what's going on. So instead of scanning through everything manually, you immediately see the key points. So for example, if a procurement manager opens a purchase order, Copilot might highlight that some lines are overdue, that confirmations are missing, or that a delivery might be delayed. So within a few seconds, they know where to focus. The same applies when looking at a vendor. Instead of digging through data, Copilot can point out things like overdue invoices or recurring delivery issues. And what's really important here is consistency. Everyone gets the same structured overview, regardless of how experienced they are with the system. So the system itself starts guiding users towards what matters. And overall, that just saves a lot of time and helps people move straight into action instead of analysis. Demand planning is another area where this really changes how people work. Traditionally, a lot of things happen in Excel. Data gets exported, analyzed manually, and that takes time. With Copilot, planners can stay inside the system and just ask questions. For example, what changed compared to last month? Which products are behaving differently? And Copilot doesn't just show numbers, it explains them. It might say that demand increased in a certain category because of seasonality, or that a region is underperforming compared to historical trends. And that explanation part is key, because it's just not data anymore, it's context. That makes it much easier to trust the results, validate them, and align with other teams like sales or finance. So instead of spending time finding insights, planners can focus on what to do next. If we move to warehouse operations, things are very time sensitive. You need to know what's happening right now and react quickly. Copilot helps by summarizing workload and activity across warehouse. So for example, a supervisor starting a shift can immediately see how many picking tasks are pending, whether receiving is falling behind, or if certain areas are overloaded. And based on that, they can adjust things straight away. Maybe reassign people or change priorities. Even for warehouse workers, having visibility into what's important right now helps reduce confusion and keeps things moving. And in these environments, small delays can quickly grow into bigger problems. So having that early visibility really helps teams stay ahead instead of constantly reacting. Another very practical use case is supplier communication. A lot of time in procurement goes into reading emails, identifying which order they relate to, and replying. AI agents can take over a big part of that. So if a supplier sends an update, for example, about a delay, the system can recognize the purchase order, understand what changed, and suggest a response. The user just reviews it and sends it. And this might sound like a small thing, but it adds up quickly. When you have a lot of suppliers and transactions, those emails take a significant amount of time. So reducing that effort really frees people up to focus on more valuable work, like managing supplier relationships. So overall in supply chain, Copilot helps teams understand what's going on faster, react earlier, and spend less time on repetitive tasks. Let's move on to commerce. In retail, there's also a lot of data being generated all the time. Customer behavior, sales, inventory. But the people who need that information most, like store employees, don't really have time to analyze reports. Copilot helps by turning that data into something they can actually use in the moment. And timing here is really important. Decisions often need to happen immediately while a customer is in the store, not later when the reports are reviewed. One example is understanding customer behavior. Instead of looking at reports, Copilot can give a quick summary of a customer's activity. So a store associate might see that a customer frequently buys from a certain category, recently purchased related items, and is active in loyalty programs. That makes it much easier to suggest relevant products or promotions right away. And it also creates a more consistent experience. Even less experienced employees can give a good recommendations because they're supported by the system. For store managers, Copilot helps simplify performance monitoring. Instead of going through multiple reports, they get a summary of what's happening. For example, which products are performing well, which promotions are working, and where performance is dropping. That allows to act during the day, not after the fact. So instead of reacting to past results, they can actually influence what's happening in real time. Copilot also supports employees directly during customer interactions. It can provide product details, suggest alternatives, and highlight complementary items. So if a customer is looking for something specific, the associate can quickly find similar options or recommend additional products. This helps them respond faster and with more confidence. And importantly, it doesn't interrupt the interaction. It just supports it in the background. So in commerce, it's really about making data usable in real time, right where customer interactions happen. Now, let's look at human resources. In HR, a lot of the work revolves around creating, reviewing, and sharing information, whether it's policies, onboarding materials, or recruitment content. Many of these tasks are repeated quite often, just with small variations. And at the same time, HR teams are also handling a high volume of questions from employees. So this combination of administrative workload and the need to provide a good employee experience. Copilot helps both sides. It reduces the effort required for HR teams, and it also makes it easier for employees to access information themselves. If we start with policy management, this is something every organization deals with regularly. Policies need to be updated due to regulatory changes, internal decisions, or changes in how people work. Copilot can support this by reviewing existing documents and suggesting updated versions. So instead of starting from scratch, HR can begin with a structured draft that already reflects the changes. For example, if there's an update to a remote work policy, Copilot can help rewrite the policy, adjust wording, and highlight what's changed. This makes the process much faster, but also more consistent. And that consistency becomes especially important in larger international organizations where policies need to be aligned across locations, but still adapted locally. Onboarding is another area where HR teams invest a lot of time and where the experience really matters. Copilot can change structured onboarding plans, including checklists, training steps, and guidance for new employees. But what's just as important in the employee side of it? New hires often have a lot of questions in the first weeks about benefits, systems, processes, or just where to find things. And instead of sending emails or waiting for responses, they can ask Copilot and get immediate answers. So it creates a much smoother and more independent experience. And for HR, it reduces the number of repetitive questions, which frees up time for more meaningful interactions. In recruitment, a lot of time goes into preparing job descriptions and interview materials. Copilot can generate these based on the role requirements. So for example, if you're hiring for a specific role, you can quickly create a structured job description and a set of interview questions aligned with the required skills. This not only saves time, but also helps standardize the process. Instead of different managers approaching interviews in completely different ways, you get more consistency how candidates are evaluated. And when it comes to reviewing candidates, Copilot can help summarize applications and highlight key qualifications. Instead of reading through every resume in detail, recruiters can get a quick overview of each candidate. This makes it easier to identify the most relevant profiles and move forward faster. This is particularly useful in high-volume recruitment, where speed really matters. But it's also important to say this does not replace human decision-making. It supports it. Recruiters still make the final call, but they can do it with better and faster insights. So across supply chain, commerce, and human resources, Copilot is becoming part of everyday work. It helps people understand information faster, reduces manual efforts, and lets them focus more on what actually adds value. And with that, I will hand it over to Taavi.
Thank you, Grete. So we have arrived to the end of our today's webinar. Thank you for everybody participating. I hope you got some new information and new ideas how Microsoft is handling AI topics in Dynamics world. And if you have some ideas or requests in the AI field, then we are open to discuss. We are sending also all the participants today's recording and the slides, so you can look it over, and feel free to contact us, and let's start our AI journey together. So thank you for all, and see you our next webinars. Goodbye.